And so someone Pope, you said you're sad that PCF kind of let this game die, and man, I'm sure you guys have seen, you know, there've been some other content creators out there putting out some stuff, which I respect their opinions, and they're not wrong either, to be honest. It's not even like, it's like, hey man, you guys are just hating, and if you're done with the game, just move on. And but it's like, no, they are correct. It is actually like sad. I don't know if sad is the word, but it's like, man, you guys had a great thing that could have been like, I feel like this game could and still could be, if they would put some time into it, this could be a classic. Like in terms of the gameplay, the mechanics, and the powers you can wield, and all these things you have in one game. I feel like this should, and it's still a fun, I mean, I'm still playing it. I wouldn't be still playing the game if it wasn't a fun game to play. But it is kind of damning, because it's like, and I see the numbers and I'm like, damn, no one, yeah, it's not, people aren't really playing this game like that. I'm still doing this because I still like to play, and I know there was a time even before I started streaming where it's like, man, I would still like to see some Outriders content, and it turned into, well, maybe I'll just do it. And I'm still learning, you know, I'm still figuring out the content creation business and all this kind of stuff, still figuring things out. But I mean, one of the bigger reasons I even started streaming and doing all this stuff in the first place was so I could find and play with people that enjoy the game the way I do. And because I had a friend that we used to play this game all the time, but he kind of like, he wasn't like me how I do it. Like I have multiple builds with all the characters. Like he only really did 2 characters and was like, nah, I'm done. I don't really feel like playing with, say, a Technomancer, or I have one build on this character, I have another build on this other character, and I'm good to go. I'm finished. But me, I don't know. I was playing the game a little bit differently, where I was like, yeah, but I kind of like being creative, and yeah, I might get this one build on this one character in a really nice place, but then I'm thinking of other things, and I'm like, well, I want to try this out. I want to try these combinations out on this other character. And basically for me, I was far from finished. But I mean, at the moment, there are multiple Outriders is dead videos, you know? That's kind of like the popular sentiment, you know? Even on the Reddits, like if you go on Reddit, there might be 100 people online. The Steam charts, I think I looked at it not maybe a couple of weeks ago, and it's like you have to like really go to page, I think I was on page 50 before I finally found Outriders, where it's like, oh, okay, like 400 people are playing this, right? Versus like hundreds of thousands playing all these other games. And so, Pope, I do share your sentiment where it's like, damn, it's really unfortunate. Now, part of it is the whole, this isn't a live service game thing and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but you kind of are, though. If you're putting out patches I mean, the way it was, there was like a patch coming out every couple of weeks. Like, I remember every Tuesday, you'd be checking to see, like, hey, anything new coming? When is a new patch coming? When are they going to fix this? When are they going to handle the matchmaking? 6:59 is it? Wow. It's a damn good time. Damn good. Under 7 minutes. It's the whole, like, I almost feel like not the developers, like the decision makers, because the developers aren't always they're not the decision makers. I feel like the decision makers kind of let the game down, because a lot of the decisions they were making, frankly, didn't make sense. Like, why would you do it this way? Like, you could just, you know, and you have games like Anthem and other games that kind of flopped where you could learn a lesson and take homage and be like, okay, you know what, let's not repeat these mistakes. And then you have other games like Destiny and even The Division. From what I understand, these games didn't launch in perfect state. These were games that had to be adjusted and fixed over time to where you're like, yeah, now you'll play it and it'll be like, oh yeah, these are great games, these are awesome. But they had to get there though. Oh, you ain't got the Ruiner weapon. Okay, cool. But it's one of those things where it's like, damn, if the decision making was a little bit better, if you took heed to more things that the public was trying to tell you. And let's see what the numbers. Oh, jeez Christ. Wow. And I mean, another reason why I'm doing this, because there are new Outriders players that come in that they contact me, and sometimes they watch my videos and they're like, hey, how did you do this? Or how to, and like I answer their questions, and I'm happy to do it. And it makes me feel like, well, there's still hope. And another thing that always, it still gives me hope was the New Horizons release, because it kind of demonstrated that, you know what, they do get it and they do understand and they listened. Let's do a City of Nomads. I want to see how you guys doing there. But it seems like they kind of reverted, and now, I mean, the popular sentiment is, yeah, the game is, you know, the developers, there's no plans of doing anything new with the game, and they've moved on to other projects and all that kind of stuff. Let me see. You said use a double teleport mod way faster. That is an option. That's an option. And you also said there's still a ton of people that haven't played this game. That is true. Hardcore. Hey, what's up? Hardcore's B3. There are too many games to play and players have no attention span. I like getting good at a small number of games, not jumping into the flavor of the week. I feel you. And you said Outriders is still dope, one of the best games I've ever played. Man, I'm right there with you, man. Like, you can tell in terms of from the developer's perspective how much work they put into this game. I mean, just it looks dope. Like visually, and the monsters and the weapons and in our gear sets look dope. Like in like the artwork, the gameplay, like there are some really nice fundamental ideas, but I keep going back to like the decision making around the game is kind of what messes things up, at least from my perspective. And like, I don't know, like a shout out to, what is it, Buzz Lightyear. I believe he was a recent one that put out an Outriders is Dead video, and I respect his opinion. I'm actually a big fan of his. A big fan. He's doing a lot of Division videos lately, but I was like, oh wait, he's back to doing something for Outriders, and I checked it out. I was like, oh, this isn't good though. It was a damning assessment of pretty much everything that went wrong and what they could have done, but what they did instead, you know. And it was one of those things where it's like, man, yeah, he's right. He's right. He's right. And it was one of those things where there was a time where I didn't know any better. And a lot of these things was like, well, I guess that's just how things go. But then I started playing The Division. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. There's certain things that just come standard here. Like loadouts, for instance. There's no reason why we shouldn't have loadouts. And like there's certain other things where it's like, damn, when you play The Division, you realize that, nah, there's like a better way to do all this. And sometimes you would wonder, like, damn, do these guys play their own game? Why would you think this is a good idea? Or why don't we have, or even like stash space? The stash space being 100 is like, why would you have a game with all of these different combinations and possibilities, but then give us like, it's like, no, that's not a good idea. I don't know. Now I'm kind of just riffing and complaining, but it is one of those things where, yeah, I see what's out there. I see people proclaiming Outriders is dead. I won't argue with you if that's how you feel. But my thing is, I don't look at this like a live service game. And the other thing too is, now that I'm playing Remnant from the Ashes, another thing that comes to mind is like, well, this seems to be what Outriders was going for. It's like, why didn't Outriders do it like this then? I don't know. These are just some thoughts. Jog, you said hardcore. True, there are a lot of games to play, but Outriders is still on Game Pass, and I think more people will still play the game as time goes on if the game continues. And see, that's the biggest thing. Because now it's kind of floating out there where it's like, oh, if they take the servers down, they really decide to call it quits, that's pretty much going to wipe out all of our characters. I don't know about you guys, but I have like an absurd amount of time into this game. Like, I might be approaching 4,000 hours. It's definitely 3,500 plus, at least 3,600. But I have a lot of hours in this game, a lot of different characters. And I mean, the servers were to go online, you can't play it anymore. Yeah, that would kind of suck, man. Are you in the wall? Oh, not anymore. I mean, my biggest thing with this was, I just, in my honest opinion, I'm not sure if World Slayer was worth the $40 price tag. It's like a 2-hour campaign at best. And then the trials are cool, but it's kind of like, okay, but that's it. I don't know.